Alright guys, I'm back here at the hothouse, just to the west of the town of Wendell, and if you saw on the way in, it's Dryad Day. That's important because what I'm going to do, as long as I'm here, is I'm going to show the tutorial for how to get the best fruit and the best vegetable for tempering in the game, even though I'm not actually going to use them. But, you know, it's if you need it, then I'll be doing it. So before I head into Watts' place, which is right over here, I'm going to head into the orchard. So now remember, it has to be Dryad Day in order for this part to work. You go over to Trent, and he says choose 2 seeds. Now, in order to get the best vegetable of all of the vegetables, that being Spade Basil, you need to use 1 crooked seed, which you should have because we gotten them one from a chest, I believe, in Gaia Cave. And you need 1 small seed. So, once you put those 2 together, you just have to wait 1 day, and then come back to the orchard, go up here to take your harvest, and then the Spade Basil will have grown. Now I'm going to take this because I planted this earlier as a part of the tutorial, and we get some dice berries. I forget what I planted for that, but that's one way to get. That's the only way to get dice berries in this game. If you're looking to make honey elixirs, you have to make honey onions and dice berries in the orchard on certain days. I'll just leave like an annotation here saying what, or I'll leave it in the description for this video saying how to make honey onions and dice berries. Probably in the video description because of the fact that there's a lot of different ways you can make both of them, so it's probably would take me more than what I could stick in an annotation in order to get that done. So I'll do that in the video description. Anyway, like I said, you want to wait a day before coming back to get that harvest, because after 1 day it will have spawned, and you can pick up the Spade Basil there. So now, before I do that, I'm going to go over here and head for Watts. Now, Watts, like I said, he has the temper option, just like every other blacksmith shop in the game, but he also has this option, the forge option, which is how you essentially make better weapons than what you already have. Now, let me just check my notes real quick, because I know I have, let's see, I've got forged iron, I have marble, and I have, oh, animal bone, that too. Okay, so I've got, enough to make, I think 3 pieces of equipment to upgrade. Let's see, the sword, not the bow, not the nux. I can upgrade the helmet, I can upgrade the armor, I can't upgrade the boots or the gloves. Okay, so yeah, I can upgrade 3 different things, 1 weapon and 2 pieces of armor. So I'm going to upgrade my sword now, since that's you know, generally the most commonly used one. And what happens when you go to the forge command is you have this list of stuff here, and here are all your materials over here. And those stats on the right side essentially list the stats of the weapon. They have power, the power of the weapon. Let me see if I can get it up. Okay, you can't get it up. But they have the power of the weapon, the amount of dodge it adds to your dodging ability. So essentially how often the enemy will miss is not only just dependent on your agility stat, but it's also dependent on that dodge part there. The hit is the hit percentage, the accuracy of the weapon, so it's makes it easier to hit stuff that's like flying or stuff that's smaller in size, the higher the hit is. And elemental power helps out with magical stats, because if you're casting magic and your elemental power is there, it will augment how good your magic is. Now, as you can see, some of these are blacked out. These are the ones that you can't actually use to forge new weapons or armor with. Like, for example, animal hide. I can't forge a sword out of animal hide. That just wouldn't make sense. So it's blacked out. But when you go down here, you have stuff like animal bone. You can make a bone sword. So, now I'm not going to be doing that because obviously it sucks if you look at it there. The only thing that I'm getting out of it is 1 elemental power, and the hero's not even using magic very much, so that's not going to do it. Now, the thing with forging is that there's also that price tag up in the top right-hand corner there, and that's how much lucre it will cost for you to forge this new weapon. So, make sure you have that stuff handy before you end up coming in here. So what I'm going to do now is, we have this Forged in the Iron, and as you can see, it's a good upgrade for the hero's sword, from the bronze sword, which is what he has now. As you can see, the stats are the same before and after if you have Manos Bronze. He also, and from the bronze to the Forged in the Iron, he gets 6 stats in power, dodge, and hit, and elemental power is pretty much irrelevant, like I've said already. So I'm going to make the upgrade to the Iron Sword, and as you can see, I have plenty of lucre to make this upgrade. So we've forged an iron sword, so now the sword is much more powerful than it was. At least, somewhat more powerful anyway. Now let's go to armor. Now before I do helm, I'm going to do armor, because the armor is, I'm going to be using that animal bone for the armor. Now the reason why I'm using animal bone for the bone armor is because of that extra effect up there. There's 2 extra effects, menus there. The one on top of the one that's just below the price on top of the other one is the extra effect that your weapon or armor has before tempering or forging, and the one on the bottom is what it will have after you're done forging. So after I forge my armor with animal bone, it will give me some added stuff it will give me some added stats. It will give me Dryad elemental protection, because when its element is Dryad, then Dryad will deal less damage, so flora enemies, like the Death Flowers that have wood magic, and the Choban Hoods, will do less damage to me because I've changed my element. I won't be able to be put to sleep now, and the defenses there, there's slashing defense on top, bashing defense in the middle, jabbing defense on the bottom, and then there's elemental defense down there below those 3. So I'll get some minor upgrades there. I'll get no sleep, and it's only 50 lucre, so why not, you know? So I've got bone armor now. So now that I've done that, I'm going to make the most important upgrade probably in the game, and this is a hero exclusive upgrade. If you're the heroine, well, I guess you're screwed. But it's not really important for the heroine, especially not the way that I'm using her, because of, well, you'll see when I get to that point. But the point that I want to do here is you'll want to forge the marble helm, because at this point you definitely have at least 1 marble available to you. The reason why I want to forge the marble helm is because of the extra effect, No Numb. If you've played this game before, you may be making the connection in your mind right now and thinking, of course, it's genius, why didn't I think of that? Or if you did think of it, then good for you. But the point is, it's only 80 lucre, it gives you some upgrades, and you won't have to upgrade the helmet again until after we finish up a particular event later on in the game. And I'll let you know what that event is when we get to it. So I'm forging the marble helm. Now you may see down there on the bottom right that LMT, that's the limit of the weapon. And that denotes how many times you can temper the weapon before you can't temper it anymore. So let's say for the marble helm, I'm pretty sure it said that I could temper it 20 times before it gets, I can't temper it anymore. And that's why I'm not using tempering, because if you temper, like weapons later on in the game, especially when you get really good materials, if you temper them enough, then the abilities of your weapons will just get ridiculous. You'll have like over 100 attack power on like your sword, and you'll have like 70% dodging, and it's just ridiculous, and it makes the game much easier than it already is. And since it's already an easy enough game, then it's not really worth your time, because it takes a long time to get all those materials anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to make it Jinn Day, and then I'm going to reap the fruits of my labor, if you will, from the orchard. Actually, I think I'm going to make it Gnome Day, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant for the best fruit, and then when I come back, I'll just denote what the 2 things that I used were when I did that. So I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. It's Gnome Day now, and I'm back in the orchard. So now, let me just go up here so we can take a look. And we can take our fruits and vegetables that we've grown in here. So this first one over here is the one that I grew on Dryad Day, and that again was crooked seed and small seed makes Spade Basil. So there's that. And now there's this one which I made on Jinn Day. And in order to get this one, you need to mix a flat seed and a spiny seed, which I can probably show you right here. If I go into my other items, I'm pretty sure I still have at least one of each. Spiny seed and flat seed. And if you make those on Jinn Day, and then you come back here a day afterwards, like it only takes a day for you to grow the fruit or vegetable. So if you put those in on Jinn Day and then come back here afterwards, you get a fishy fruit. Why it's fishy? I don't know. Probably tastes like fish or something weird like that. I don't know. Anyway, just to demonstrate the raw tempering ability of these two, I'm going to take them back to Watts and let him attempt to temper with these. I'm not actually going to temper anything with them, but, well, you'll see in a minute. So I'm going to go to the bow because I'm pretty sure I have some oak wood. What did it say? Hang on one sec. Let me, choose weapon and temper. Yeah, we'll temper the oak bow. And that will take 20 lucre. And then, to temper your weapons, you need to choose a veggie. Now, as you can see, the Spade Basil increases every single stat of the weapon by 1 for just the one fruit. So, if you have enough seeds, I mean, this gets ridiculous. You can plant as many Spade Basils. I think you can plant up to 4 per Dryad Day. I think you can get up to 4 fruits or vegetables from Trent per day. So you can plant 4 at a time, and it's really easy to switch the day back. You just keep running back and forth between screens and stuff. So the Spade Basil is the best weapon tempering thing, weapon tempering veggie. Now for armor, you temper your armor with fruit. And I'm going to check the helm because I know I have some more marble. So we'll confirm that, and then now I have a bunch of these other ones, and just to show you the raw ability of the fishy fruit or the Spade Basil, I have other fruits here. And the Dice Berry would increase my jab defense, Kitty Pie would increase everything but my jab defense, but the fishy fruit increases everything. And as you can see, it's only 20 lucre to do this, so you could do this as many times as your limit allows you to, and you can make your weapons and armor absolutely ridiculously powerful. So that's an option to you if you have a lot of time on your hands and you want to make this game even easier than it already is. I will say this though, for speedrun tactics, like if you're not killing any of the enemies in the game, because I've heard of people getting through this game without killing like any of the enemies. So if that's what you're doing, then you may want to use tempering, because you don't have to kill off the enemies in order to get a lot of stuff. You have to kill the enemies to get the seeds, but there are other options for getting the seeds, because you can get them from treasure chests. So there's that. I don't know, whatever use you find for them. I'm not going to use them, but there you go, there's your tutorial on how to get that. So now that I've done all of that stuff, I'm going to make my way back through Gaia Cave, and as I did while I was making my way over here, I'm only going to kill the enemies that are in my way. So I'm going to make my way back through Gaia Cave and meet you back at the mana statue over there. So I'll see you over there.